Coming up, body found in Iowa River has been identified. And later, President Biden's decision on seeking re-election.
Hawkeye Wrestling sends a flock to the U.S. Open Championships.
The end of the semester calls for sunny skies.
This is DITV News at 8:30. Good morning, and thank you for tuning in live to DITV and KRUI 89.7 FM. I'm Johnny Valtman. The body found in the Iowa River on Saturday has been identified as 20-year-old Christian Martinez. The Johnson County Medical Examiner confirmed the identification on Monday. Martinez went missing in the early hours of April 15th and was last seen behind Bardo. A couple near Napoleon Park reported the sighting of a body in the east bank of the Iowa River on Saturday. Martinez's cause of death is still under investigation. President Biden announced Tuesday afternoon if he would be seeking a second term as president. I have more on the president's decision. President Biden announced Tuesday afternoon that he will be seeking re-election in 2024.
Finish the job. We just remember who we are. We are the United States of America.
The president also released a campaign-styled video stating his first 4 years were a battle for the soul of America, focused on fighting for the people's rights. He would continue that fight if he were re-elected.
The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too.
With Biden's announcement, Americans are not the fondest of his decision. 73% of Americans believe Biden shouldn't run again. Democrats are also split as only 47% believe he should seek a second term. The country could see a possible rematch of the 2020 election where Joe Biden would take on Donald Trump once again.
No one wants a Biden-Trump replay of 2020. It was painful then, it would be painful again.
Vice President Kamala Harris will run as vice president for Biden's second bid at the White House. A March 2023 poll shows that Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds' approval ratings have fallen from 53% to 50%. Daily Iowa News reporter Natalie Miller is live in the newsroom to tell us more. Natalie, why is Reynolds' approval rating dropping?
Reynolds has signed into law two anti-gay bills, one prohibiting transgender youth from using bathrooms that coincide with their gender identity, and another prohibiting transgender youth from receiving gender-affirming care. Another controversial bill that Governor Reynolds has signed in is school choice, allowing students to choose between public and private schools. If a student were to choose private school, the state would aid them in tuition. This could be the cause of these falling approval ratings.
And what did the students at the University of Iowa say about the approval ratings of Reynolds?
The president of the UI Democrats and members of the UI Democratic Socialist Organization believe that what Reynolds is doing is very harming to the state and making it an unwelcoming state. In opposition, the vice president of the UI College Republicans believe that what Reynolds is doing is keeping Iowa children safe and is good for the entire state.
Are people leaving the state due to these legislative actions?
In a 2022 National Bureau of Economic Research, they found that 34% more students are leaving post-college graduation rather than staying in the state. This in no way means that people are leaving due to these legislative actions, but people are leaving, causing what Iowa District 90 Representative Adam Zabner calls brain drain. Back to you, Johnny.
Thank you, Natalie. Now let's check in on Samantha and see if she's enjoying the weather outside.
Thanks, Johnny. And it is a little bit chilly this morning, but we are in for a fairly nice day today, and the rest of the week looks even more fantastic. Today we are looking at a high of 61 degrees with a low of 41. as the sun goes down tonight. Tomorrow will reach up to 71 degrees as the clouds stick around again with a low of 41 degrees. To the end of the week, Friday is looking at a high of 71 as well and a low of 44 into the nighttime. The weekend is a bit chillier, but highs are in the 50s and 60s, and wind is to be expected with some light rain. Now, I know Johnny is waiting back in the studio, so I'll send it back to him.
Thank you, Samantha. A new club has started at the University of Iowa, and Hawkeyes are taking to the skies. The Iowa Skydiving Club was founded as a way to provide students the opportunity to get into skydiving.
The whole idea behind the club really is to help students get the access to their first skydive. So tandem skydiving is a big part of what we do. So we help to educate people about that, present opportunities, and really create a community where people can try skydiving for the first time.
The club has an opportunity for students to skydive as soon as next week. Their spring jump weekend is taking place on May 6th and 7th at Skydive Iowa, located in Brooklyn, Iowa. The club offers discounted skydiving prices for its members. You could sign up at the QR code on screen. More information on the club can be found at UIowa Skydiving on Instagram. And an old building on campus has new plans to be revitalized. The UI Recreational Services' recent addition to their facilities is the university's Lagoon Shelter House. It's located between the Theater Building and Hancher Auditorium. The Lagoon Shelter House was once a storage facility and has been left underutilized by the university. UI Rec Services is planning to take advantage of the house's location by the Iowa River to increase the amount of outdoor recreational amenities on campus. The revitalized vision of the Lagoon House is to serve UI students with new hammocks, slacklines, and other opportunities for fun in the sun. This initiative is a part of the sustainability efforts on campus to utilize the geographical aspects of the University of Iowa's campus. And this past Monday evening, the Penncrest Museum's Student Advisory Board hosted their annual trivia night. The event took place within the Senate chambers in the Old Capitol Museum and brought in both students and the general Iowa City public to try for the $100 first place prize. The event is one of many the organization puts on to promote the museums through public participation. More information can be found at the website penncrestmuseums.uiowa.edu. And the theater department's last main stage show took to the stage last weekend and continues on this weekend. Ugly Lies, The Bone is a play covering topics on pain, relationships, home, and healing wounds. The cast and crew feature both undergraduate and graduate students from here at the University of Iowa. The show runs tonight through Saturday, starting at 8 p.m. in EC Maybe Theater in the UI Theater building. Tickets are $5 for UI students and $20 for adults. You can find more about the cast, creative team, crew, and dramaturg's note by visiting the theater department's virtual lobby. The Iowa legislature is moving forward with a House study bill that would have prohibited regent universities from funding diversity, equity, and inclusion offices. Despite the bill failing, DEI remains a hot topic among the universities. The Board of Regents paused all new DEI programs last month. The Board of Regents is going to continue to work on a study over inclusiveness of DEI programs and will continue to pause new DEI programming. The review is expected to take several months. The My City, My Health Conference is taking place this Friday, April 28th at the MERF Atrium from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The event highlights research in health equity, culture in healthcare, and community involvement. All students and community members are welcome to attend, and there are spots still open for signups. Be sure to visit mycity.health.com and use discount code HealthEquity when purchasing your ticket. And earlier this week, the northern lights of Aurora Borealis were visible at Iowa. Take a look at some of these pictures. The sky showed green and purple, particularly in rural areas of northern and central Iowa that have less amounts of light pollution. The auroras are caused by electrically charged particles from the sun interacting with the Earth's magnetic field. The northern lights are more commonly seen in northern countries, but on Sunday they made their way to the northern United States, which included Maine, Wisconsin, and Wyoming, and even Iowa. And there are high possibilities for them to show up again.
Solar activity peaks about every 11 years, and the peak is supposed to be actually next year, 2024 going into 2025. So we're nearing that peak, and we've seen evidence of that.
Experts encourage using an aurora tracking app, finding locations far from major cities with lots of light, and using long exposure settings to capture pictures of the lights. Now let's send it over to DITV Sports with Vivian Samowski.
Thanks, Johnny. 12 University of Iowa wrestlers and 6 members of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club head to the Sin City of Las Vegas to compete at the U.S. Open Championships from April 27th to April 30th. Spencer Lee will be competing at the 57 kilograms and will be the 2 seed in the upcoming tournament. Lee was a 3-time NCAA champion, was a 2-time Dan Hodge Trophy Award winner, was a 5-time first all-team American, and went 57-6 against ranked opponents in his career. Pat Lugo and Alex Marinelli are also among the 12 going to Las Vegas. Both Lugo and Marinelli will wrestle as 4 seeds. This tournament will serve as a qualifying event for the 2023 Senior World Team Trials Challenge. The senior division, where you can catch Spencer Lee, Alex Marinelli, and Pat Lugo, will begin on April 27th at noon Eastern Time. The Iowa baseball team added to their 4-game winning streak by defeating Upper Iowa in a slam-out game 16-0. Peterson was the top of the leaderboard, going 1 for 2 with 4 RBIs. Dorigi was right behind him, going 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Volker started on top of the bump for Iowa, throwing 2 innings before handing it to the bullpen. This weekend, the Hawks are on the road to State College, Pennsylvania for a 3-game series against Penn State. The first game is set for 4 p.m. this Friday, and you can catch this weekend's games live on Big Ten Network. And the Iowa Hawkeye softball team is coming off 3 straight losses to Minnesota last weekend and are now set to host the Iowa State Cyclones today in a Cy-Hawk series. Iowa dropped the 7th in the Big Ten standings and are now 4 games back of the 2nd in the conference, but won't have a chance today to make any progress. The Cyclones had a rough season so far, coming into the game with an 18-27 record, but the Hawks are looking for some revenge, as last year Iowa State beat the Hawks 14-11 to tie the all-time series at 33-33 with 2 ties. You can catch the big game live on Big Ten Network starting at 5 p.m. And the Iowa women's tennis team is set to take the Indiana Hoosiers in round 2 of the Big Ten tournament. Iowa's coming off a weekend split against Northwestern Illinois to close out the regular season. The Wildcats swept Iowa day 1, but the Hawkeyes came back the next day to defeat the Fighting Illini 4-1. Tomorrow won't be the first time Iowa and Indiana will have played each other. Earlier this year, the Hoosiers defeated the Hawks in a 4-2 match that saw Iowa sweep doubles but lose 4 out of the 5 singles matches. Ahead of the conference tournament, Iowa received the number 6 seed in a first-round bye, while Indiana receiving the 11th seed, and were supposed to play Minnesota in the first round yesterday, but instead received a bye because the Gophers were forced to forfeit due to the number of injuries the team sustained. And the NFL draft is begun to set tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in Kansas City, Missouri. For Hawkeye football fans, you're going to want to tune in early to the draft to see some of the Iowa's former stars find their new homes in the NFL. Among the field of players available to see drafted, Iowa's Lucas Van Ness is projected to be the first round tomorrow night. According to CBS.com insider Chet Reuter, the former Hawkeye defensive lineman could be selected as early as the 17th pick in the first round and to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Other Hawkeyes that could be drafted include Jack Campbell, who is a projected 3rd-round pick, and Riley Moss, who's projected to a 4th-round pick. Come back Friday for more Hawkeye sports. Let's send it back to Johnny for more.
Thank you, Vivian, and thank you for tuning in to DITV News and listening to KRUI 89.7 FM. Be sure to head over to thedailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday, and check out more of our content on thedailyiowan.com/DITV. For DITV News, I'm Johnny Valtman, and have a great Wednesday.